Welcome back to Switch to Linux. We're going to continue our outdoor philosophy here, and this is just so beautiful. I love the coloration just with the snow. It's warm enough, so it's actually a little above freezing. It's actually a little drizzly and rainy, but it's just such a nice day out in respect of everything. I just love the scenery. So. All right, well, we're going to continue our talking about minimalism, and I wanted to look at the office today. I've been working on minimalizing the office, and this is one of the biggest rooms for me. It may or may not be the biggest room for you, but what I'm talking about with minimalizing the office is this was a lot of digital minimalizing, but also just getting rid of some paperwork. A lot of people just have way too much paperwork and stuff in their offices, and some of it you need to keep around. Some of it you can afford to flip to digital. And some of it's just so old and unnecessary, it's probably best to just get rid of it. And so one of the things I've been doing is I've actually had tax records and pay stubs going back to, my entire life. And that means that I've had boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff like that in the, in my office. And it really boiled down to, I had 7 or 8 different boxes of taxes and things, and, 100, 200, maybe even 300 pounds of just paperwork and taxes. Most of which, of course, for personal taxes, you only, I think, have to keep for like 3 years. Business taxes, I think it's either 5 or 7 years. And since I run businesses, I would necessarily need to keep those back. But the thing is that you can keep those in digital copies. And so what I did do is I kept all of the digital, I converted everything into digital and got rid of everything. What I did decide I'm going to do this year, though, is I'm going to keep the tax return on paper for 1 extra year laying around. Everything else, like all of the bills, the invoices, everything else is just going to be straight digital because I can access that pretty quick. I just like having the paper tax return around next year because what I'm finding is that I can do my estimates a lot better if I actually have the paper copies versus the digital. But once I get this year's taxes done, I'm going to keep that one until next year's taxes. Once I send everything to the accountant next year, I'm going to shred out this year's tax returns. Of course, keeping the digital copies of everything inside of a good backup strategy. So that's one of the things I did with that paperwork. Of course, medical, dental records, some of that you might need to keep, some of that you might want to get rid of. The one thing you always keep the absolute originals of, if you have been involved in any type of debt collection type stuff and you're negotiating a deal and you've sent them a letter, like they've sent you a certified letter saying, give us this much money by this much date, you save that letter, you write them a money order, save that piece of paper for pretty much ever. Put that with car titles and stuff like that. Of course, your car titles, house titles, deeds, things like that, property deeds, car titles, things like that. You want to keep those around, obviously. You either keep those in a safety deposit box or in a fireproof safe in your office. But the objective is you want to cut things back. Take some time to look through all of this paperwork. What paperwork is actually necessary? Which paperwork is not necessary? Get rid of that which is not necessary. Digitalize that which you can digitalize. Only keep the paper copies of what you need to keep paper copies of. Also, in terms of the office, you might have some books, magazines, things like that are relevant to the types of things that you do. Maybe magazines for your field or profession. Consider once again with your regular magazines, if you haven't read it yet and it's a couple years old, just get rid of it. You won't get to it. Yeah, maybe flip through them, clip out and cut out some articles, convert them to digital, whatever you need to do. Just look at all of that extra clutter and get rid of it. Another thing I found is you might have extra notes. Like I was always buying sticky notes, and then I realized I had like 15, 20 pads of just white blank paper. I just keep, and started to use those instead of sticky notes. Not as convenient at times, but it's rather than spending the money right now, I'm just going to use those things because I haven't been using them. I bought them 15, 20 years ago. I haven't used them yet. The same thing with paper clips, excess staples. Just get rid of that kind of stuff. Find somebody, send it to an office supply store or a friend's house that's starting out their life. They could benefit from, 1,000 paper clips. I don't know. But look through all that stuff. Look through your extra pens, pencils, all that kind of stuff, and take some time and just get rid of all of that type of the extra type of office supplies that you don't need. Now, if you go through a ton of staples, you go through a ton of paper clips, by all means, keep what you need. But what I found for me is that most of us have a bunch of stuff laying around that we actually don't need, and that in and of itself raises a lot of challenges, and just we don't want to get rid of it. We store it forever. Look at the extra paper you have laying around. Is there paper and paper type things that you have that you will never use? What can you do with them? Donate them. Like I found, for example, Christmas letter type paper. Basically, it's just it's for people who like to print out Christmas letters and print it on nice decorative Christmas stock paper. Some people really print Christmas letters, and if you do print Christmas letters like that, keep those around and use them for sure. I don't, and I had a copy in there. I had a pack of those things from like 15 years ago. So finally I'm just like, I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. Just get rid of it. And go through your office and see what types of things are out there. Do you have an excess amount of old backup disks, old backup anything? Are there things that are too redundant? I mean, we want some redundancy in your backups. Absolutely. Keep some redundancy in your backups. What I do for backups, I'll keep a copy on site, and I'll keep a copy off site. You don't want to have everything on site and you have your house burned down. That would be a bad thing. So having good data strategies is a very good option to do. So those are all those types of things to look into with regards to your office and office minimalizing. Do you have, a lot of people will have excess just old junk laying around. Figure out where your computer recycling center is in your town. Every town has one. And take all that stuff together, put it into a big old box, and ship it on out of there. If you've got old computers in there that are so old they don't even work, I mean, get rid of them. There's no reason to have that kind of stuff in your house, but a lot of people have that kind of thing. And you can really take your office and turn it into something a whole lot nicer than you have already, simply by getting rid of all of that excess stuff. So those are some of those things to keep in mind as you are looking at your digital minimalizing. Just go through the office, look for the paperwork, look for the taxes, look for those types of things. Get rid of the things you can get rid of, digitalize the things you can digitalize, and just keep the bare minimums that you have to keep in those respects. Because we all have things in our life we can get rid of. We all have things in our life that we do need to hold on to for a while. So all that's good. Of course, definitely invest in a good fire safe for your office, and that could be something small. I just have a fairly small one because I don't have a ton of things that I wouldn't keep in a safety deposit box. And so do that kind of stuff just so you have some extra protection there. Like I keep my journals in there really more than anything. The journals is a good thing. Some people digitalize your journals. You might digitalize those. You might keep those in paper. I don't know. I think those are kind of those special things you might keep on paper. It depends on your own thoughts. Go through the office. Look into all those types of things. That's that type of stuff that you want to look at in terms of the digital minimalizing. So that's kind of what I wanted to do as far as just talking about the office today. I would talk about the last room in the house is going to be the kitchen. That's going to be another longer one. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here, mostly because I think my battery's just about dead. I don't know. I should have charged the phone today. Oh, well, anyway. Thanks for watching. Hope that you enjoy switching to Linux and minimalizing your life. Check out switchtolinux.com/support to learn how you can help support this channel. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.